The following video is rated PG-13. Today, we're exposing the existence of Cory Renwald, Superman's brother. Cory Renwald makes his first appearance in the New Adventures of Superboy number 19. The story was entitled 0 Hour for the Kents. Once upon a time, on a sweltering August night, the Kents wake up to find Cory, a delinquent runaway, robbing them. As Officer Parker takes Cory away, the Kents are overcome by the hopeless vulnerability on his young face. Being 17, Cory was old enough for the foster guardian program. So, the Kents get approval to take him in. Cynical, Cory just thinks the Kents are liberal dopes. However, the witty Kents inspire Cory to be thoughtful, polite, and conscientious. Eventually, the reform period ends and Cory graduates high school. Now 18, Cory ventures into the world. Strangely, the now caring Cory will not visit, will not call, and will not write. Why? Years pass, and the Kents find an alien child in a rocket ship. Years later, following a team-up with Superboy, an unavailable Cory sends word of his whereabouts since his graduation. The federal agent explains Cory was recruited as a double agent by the government. After worrying for years, the Kents' fears are finally put aside. Little does anyone know, the Kents will soon pass away. Superman's brother makes his second appearance in Superman number 369. Here, it is Christmas time in Metropolis, Delaware. The story is a cross between Mission Impossible and a Shane Black Christmas film. Cory is in town perpetrating another CIA job on American soil. Cory assumes he is being attacked by a mugger posing as a Salvation Army Santa. However, the Santa is no mugger, as we'll soon discover. In the meantime, Cory, whose codename is Agent 449K, gets his order in the Mission Impossible style. The recording relates that a local TV reporter has committed treason. Cory's mission is, for now, to observe and report on the suspect, Clark Kent. You would think an intelligence outfit would avoid sending a spy with a personal connection to a suspect. Meanwhile, at the Fortress of Solitude, Superman takes a break from the Christmas chaos using a relaxation bean gifted by the folks of Planet Rhina. Somehow, Parasite, the energy vampire, enters and attacks. Despite being hypnotically relaxed and partially drained of energy, Superman evicts Parasite Uncle Phil style. Parasite lands 17 miles away. Weakened, Superman cannot pursue. We turn the page to find an assassin aiming for Clark Kent. The assassin's employer, the Syndicate, is retaliating for an exposed article. Wait. First, Cory gets orders from a hidden recording and now we hear of a Syndicate. Is this a Superman Mission Impossible crossover? Before we can imagine an answer, Cory takes out the assassin. Using his X-ray vision, Clark discovers his rescuer is none other than Agent Renwald. He assumes Cory's agency must have assigned him to track down fugitive Syndicate members. Note here the CIA is identified as the agency. Although that is a popular nickname for the Central Intelligence Agency, it might be referencing a certain other agency DC was using in its stories at this time. That other agency would appear in Vigilante and would evolve into Checkmate. Cory then checks in over a secure line using the code phrase trope typical of spy tales. Cory relates what little he has uncovered about Clark. He hints how the mission is need to know and that now he needs to know. His contact agrees and reveals Clark is suspected to have betrayed America to aliens. Ah, you're only revealing that now? You sent a human agent to trail someone suspected of consorting with aliens without him knowing that vital tidbit? Cory then does what he should have done at the start. Break into Clark's apartment for evidence. Unbeknownst to Cory, a microscopic alarm alerts Clark to his trespassing. Clark's X-ray vision lets him know Cory is actually trailing him, not the Syndicate. Before Clark can question Cory, the Parasite attacks again, causing them both to ruin the public Christmas tree donated earlier by Superman. Meanwhile, Cory checks in with another contact. He relates the evidence he has uncovered is so sensitive, he will only relate it to the agency director himself. Afterward, the contact is revealed to us as the Parasite. In an earlier adventure, Parasite learned of Cory's existence by absorbing a portion of Superman's memory. It is unclear if Superman's memory included knowledge of Renwald's personal history or not. If not, then how did Parasite track Cory to Metropolis? Or know where he would be to absorb his agency knowledge while disguised as a Santa Claus? Then how fast was Parasite to set up the fake mission recording? Wait, since Cory was on his way to that construction site anyway, did Parasite replace an official recording of a real mission? And why would Parasite even bother attacking Superman between vital steps in his plot? Especially since Superman has had a knack of defeating him in the past? Defeat would have undone his whole scheme. He goes on to figure that 2 crises, one for Superman and one for Clark, would be perfect. But the jumping back and forth jeopardizes both. The only attack on Superman that makes sense was at the Daily Planet. Eventually, the agency would discover his meddling. And then for some reason, Parasite crashes the taxi. And then flees dressed as Lex Luthor. Why? Meanwhile, Superman discovers Cory has found his stash of Superman swag not stored at the fortress. Parasite then dresses up as what an idiot would imagine a spy director would dress. Superman appears. And do you really care how the fight goes? Later, presumably on Christmas Eve, Cory appears at Clark's apartment. He informs Clark that he was the boy Jonathan and Martha fostered before him. Apparently, the Kents revealed this sometime after the events in Superboy number 19. Strangely, Clark implies the Kents did not tell him Cory's name. Cory then goes on explain how he figured Parasite's plot. He says no child raised by the Kents would be a traitor. He also figured, based on the trophies secreted in the apartment, that Superman uses Clark's place as a way station. The 2 foster brothers then settled down to share Christmas stories about their beloved Kents. We then trail Agent Renwald to Superman number 372. Although not a tale of espionage, the story does include a Bond villain of a sort. Superman encounters an antimatter drone in orbit. Using super hearing, the control signal is tracked to a remote island stronghold. Here, Superman meets Mason Strath, a man who claims no one was endangered by the drone due to precision navigation by his supercomputer. Strath does warn that if Superman disassembled the computer, the drone would self-destruct. Superman acknowledges the consequences of a space-time rift with the possibility of a black hole. Strath then starts relating his backstory when Superman cuts him off. Superman has already scanned the stronghold for background data on Strath. For those of you not used to Superman being so smart, that is likely because you grew up with post-crisis canon. Strath then bids Superman's X-ray vision to notice pictures of his children, Christy and Matthew. He gives his sob story about how they were swept away in a tidal wave. It is then Swath's scheme comes clear. He is ransoming Metropolis in exchange for Superman time traveling to rescue his children. Superman refuses, saying one cannot alter the past. This is inconsistent with many prior DC tales. But plot. Using a time bubble, they travel to August 23 the previous year. Superman keeps contact using superventriloquism, which is a talent, not a power. Superman evaporates and redirects the tidal wave. However, Superman helplessly phases through the children as time prevents him from touching them. Essentially, time works according to Christmas past logic. Broken, Strath resigns to deactivate the antimatter drone upon returning to 1982. However, upon their return, they find the supercomputer has had a short circuit. Without regulation, the drone increases in size. Strath then succumbs to shameful regret and goes full-on Charlton Heston. Using his speed and the drone's energy output, Superman slingshots the mass through a time-space rift to detonate far from Earth. By now, you might be wondering when Cory is going to show up. Superman then reveals that while in the past, he heard only one heartbeat on the beach. It was then he X-rayed the children to discover they were androids. Calling on Cory Renwald's security clearance, Superman is told the shocking truth in full. The androids were a secret project akin to Marvel's life model decoys. Cory then confirms Superman's suspicion that Strath has a radioactive aura due to a lab accident in 1979. Turns out, The island is a quarantine site. The government kept Strath ignorant of his condition for fear he would stop researching. Superman then deduces his actual children were told their father was dead. Superman proposes devising insulation suits to reunite the family while using his collection of alien technology to eventually cure Strath. Superman allows Strath to believe he changed history and, apparently, fails to explain the suits. Cory Renwald's final appearance is in Superman number 389. Here, an anonymous man attempts an urgent call to Clark Kent. At this point, Clark appears to again be working for the Daily Planet. A wrecking ball readies to assassinate him. Fortunately, there is always a Superman around when you need one. But while Superman investigates the wrecking ball, the anonymous man vanishes, leaving behind his disguise. Meanwhile, the would-be assassin is being scolded by his handler. Agent Eagle is warned to not fail again. Turning our page to the Daily Planet, a debonair yet eccentric man impresses passers-by Lois Lane and Lana Lang. The gentleman requests Clark Kent. Then a weird moment occurs. Jimmy Olsen's pal, Justin, mistakes the man for a celebrity. However, I can't discern which celebrity. The gentleman then jumps several dozen floors with only his coat for a parachute. Miraculously, he lands on a neighboring rooftop where, of course, there is a Superman when you need one. It is then the gentleman strips his disguise to reveal he is, in fact, Cory Renwald. However, Cory has no memory of who he is. He only knows that he must contact a man named Clark Kent. Cory claims he woke up in an alley wearing a smoldering suit. He figured he must have jumped from a fire escape adjacent to a smoking apartment. It was then he fled machine gun fire. Hiding in a laundry truck, Cory found he possessed a clip of money. Lots of money. After placing Cory at Clark Kent's apartment, Superman consults with the Pentagon. Why not go to the CIA? Anyway, Superman is told Cory has turned traitor but that Uncle Sam wants him alive. So, who is trying to kill Cory? Later, Cory's memory is jogged by a picture of the Kents. According to Cory, he got a call warning him of a bomb. He jumped down the fire escape, banging his head on the way down. While Cory wants his frame up immediately exposed, Clark cautions him to recover. Cory disagrees and flees. But, while Superman deals with a nearby disaster, Cory is kidnapped. Agent Eagle places the drugged Cory into a remote plane. The reasons behind the scheme are unclear due to Eagle's lack of articulation. I guess he plans to frame Cory for killing the president. Once more, Superman is there when you need him. Sabotaging the self-destruct, Superman frees Cory. And then the story ends. This is Superman's brother in his final appearance as DC was putting everything to bed on the eve of crisis. He was not even in Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow? Cory Kent deserved better. What do you think? I am Rima, the Jungle Girl, and join me next time as I explore DC in the Bronze Age, where the action is